All right, so welcome to another podcast about nothing.
Yeah.
I have to admit, we could have done this a week ago, but college football came out and it's I've been playing like crazy, so yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went on vacation and a bunch of other shit happened, and I guess that's why we're all here to talk about it. So
Yep.
let's jump into it. First of all, if you're listening, or while we were gone, everywhere I went, especially Green Street, shout out Green Street, people were like, when is the next episode coming out? So I never realized how many people do listen or want to listen, you know. So yeah, thank you for listening. The goal is to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Follow us on the podcast About Nothing One on TikTok.
Yep.
And yeah, you know, on YouTube where most of our stuff is going, you know, like we're just trying to do numbers, and I believe like 100 views and 100 subscribers is pretty fair to start out with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you guys hear a ding in the background, it's my iPad going off because people are trying to book studio sessions. So anyways, with that being said, usually we talk about what's going on in our life and then we jump into hot topics. So let's get it. I want to talk about something first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very heartbroken that the first time we see in our house, there was a bunch of beer cans there and people were getting drunk. And,
while working on our house, not just hanging out getting drunk.
Yeah, while working on it. And these are the most important parts of the house, you know, foundation, sheetrock, plumbing, electrical, you know. So the builders of our home, we, of course, you know, I did crazy research on them. And, you know, like, just like everything else, there's good stuff and there's bad stuff online. Well, like, we kind of, you know, ignored all the bad stuff. You know, we drove down 10 hours away, checked out the neighborhood. I feel like, you know, we did everything we were supposed to do, you know, even financially on our side. But seeing that, you know, kind of wavered my confidence and what we were kind of getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Completely. I wouldn't even say a little bit, babe. Like, it just kind of fucked me all the way up. You know, like, there were so many, not so many, but there were red flags that, you know, like, we just ignored because we wanted this. Not necessarily the house in particular, or the town in particular, but just buying a house and actually doing it for ourselves.
Yeah.
And just kind of seeing that I just threw everything into question. Like, so much so that we were just on vacation and I couldn't think about anything else. Not so much so that, you know, like, of course I was disheartened and stuff like that, but, you know, like, as a man, you know, you just think of every scenario. And I think I spent, like, for the first time for, like, on one subject, I've spent a few days just thinking, you know, just playing this out of my head, like, every which kind of different way. And, you know, like, I think the third day, and of course, you know, like, you're my, I don't know what you would call it, but you're my confidant or whatever. Mm-hmm. Every idea I have, you know, I bounce off of you, you know, and of course I was doing that, like, during the process. But I think after the third day, I just kind of was like, holy shit, I don't think this is a good deal for us anymore.
No. Well, I could tell. I don't know. I've just.
Yeah. It's, man, like, cause I just want to get away so bad, you know, and at first I thought it was buying a house. Now my perspective is, it's like, I don't care how we do it, you know, like, let's just do it. But yeah, man, it just kind of sucked. And, to know that people are out there, and the one thing I learned, guys, is, like, I have to be real. The people that I confided in, I would have to say everybody, you know, was like, well, it's normal to, like, have a drink, like, on the job. But if you follow us in any way, which, you know, I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you follow us on our social media, like, there was beer scattered throughout. And then once, you know, people understood, like, how much was there, they're like, okay, this can be pretty shoddy.
Yeah. I mean, and it doesn't matter what other people, if it happens on the job, cool. If it happens at your house, great. I love that for you and that you're okay with that.
Yeah.
But I'm not. And
Facts.
maybe, I don't know. I mean, I have grown up around people that do concrete and carpentry work. I've been on job sites my whole childhood.
Yeah.
You clean up after yourself.
Facts.
And if we're going to be completely transparent, my dad has an alcohol problem.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who knows my dad knows this.
Yeah.
I mean, he straightened up, as life has went on.
For sure.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, to the point where he's, with the law, been in trouble because of his drinking habit. And yet he still doesn't drink on the job. And then 2, cleans up after himself.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's those, I feel like that's just being respectful of the people that you're building for. So,
yeah, because I spent, I feel like, a considerable amount of time, like, thinking to myself, like, okay, am I overreacting? Like, what's, like, I thought on that side too. But, these are, whenever the workers are intoxicated and they're working on, like the bones of the house, how everything's going to go down, and we have a problem a couple of years from now, it could cost us a crazy amount of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even though we're prepared to buy a house, we are prepared to move, we aren't prepared for a $10,000 fix,
A year in.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean,
I feel like that would suck balls.
yeah. Well, and then just kind of the way that it's all been handled is not, I feel like is not efficient.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we should be getting offering, people should be, these people should be offering us solutions to try to fix, or make us feel more confident in the situation. But what we're being dealt is, well, what do you want us to do? And that leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Man, that fucked me all the way up. And I'm so tired of, I don't want to say it's a race thing or something in my life, man. I just feel like maybe it's a classist thing. I don't know.
Easily. I could easily see that happening. Yeah.
Yeah, like they think that we're desperate to buy a house. So they're like, well, like, what do you want us to do? Like, this is a great product, when there's reviews all online that are, not so favorable for these people. And then they're drinking while building the house. And those two coupled together just wasn't good enough for me.
No.
And just like you said, like, the only thing that could have made me feel better is if they doubled the warranty or extended it out. And I think it had a structural warranty for 10 years. And like, I would want that doubled. But whenever I Googled and did the research on the claims and stuff like that, there's so many claims in claims court that like aren't being settled out or aren't being fixed, or, to be honest with you, to be blatantly honest, aren't even being replied to. So, the only assurance that I could have had was that, and knowing that that was a dead end in itself, like I didn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
I didn't, in no facet that I feel comfortable coming to you and being like, all right, this is cool. We can still do this. So, yeah, man, as much as exciting as it is seeing your house being built every day or every week. And for us, it was on video because we're 10 hours away. And, being one of the first few people in my house in my family to buy a house and be in that position, to me, it was just, it was definitely heartbreaking. So I wanted to talk about that, man. And if you're drinking on the job, fuck you, man. So I just want to say that.
No, we, like I said, we're not desperate. We have options. We honestly probably have more options than normal people when it comes to this whole process. So, I mean, it sucks that didn't work out, but like, I don't know. We all throughout, I mean, I guess like really our marriage, our relationship, things happen to us and we're like, what the heck?
Right.
Like, why is this going on? But not even 6 months down the road, we look back and we're like,
we dodged a fucking bullet.
Yeah. So, I just tell myself, like I said, we're not desperate. We're not in a rush. I mean, we have options. So let's do ourselves a favor and,
right.
Do this for what feels right for us and what'll work for us, not what feels right for other people. Because at the end of the day, they ain't the one paying that bill.
Facts.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that we did backwards was We just had a bunch of kids before we got our shit together. So,
oh yeah, clearly.
So like everything we do, you know, especially at this point of our life financially, you know, like we have to think of 4 other people, and you know, McDonald's trips aren't $20 anymore. You know, it's just it's bigger planning.
Yeah,
it's more expensive. A lot goes into it when moving, and you know, like another thing that sucks is, you know, we took our kids down there because it's an hour away from our vacation town in Florida, which sounds crazy, us having a vacation town.
I know. Yeah.
We couldn't even thought about that 5 years ago.
Nope.
But it's an hour away from our vacation town. So on our way to vacation, we just stopped the kids. We were like, let's go check out the schools. You know, like we fell in love with Publix. Hey, Publix it's my new favorite grocery store in the whole world. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, like the kids fell in love with it. So, you know, with them being invested, I just felt the extra weight as a father. You know, like it would have sucked a lot less had we kept it in between us and it didn't work out, but we brought the kids' emotions into it too.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I'm just mindful of stuff like that. But I think our kids are an understanding, you know. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they are. You know, I've never dealt with this. I don't think if you've ever dealt with this, and obviously the kids haven't. So it's all our first time. And, you know, I'm very honest and open with my kids about like what's going on in our life, so they don't have to like guess and wonder without giving them too much details of everything going on, you know?
I mean, they're part of the household. So no, I feel like we're pretty transparent with them when it comes to,
oh yeah, facts.
You know, comes to like decisions we're making or
a lot of
what's
stuff
going on. Yeah. So
much so, like when I was growing up, my mom didn't. I mean, granted, you know, she had the right thinking, but she was like, "I take care of you. I don't got to explain shit to you," or you know, like that mind frame.
Yeah.
And you know, like that's cool. Like that's how she was raised. But just me as a parent, I try to, you know, like level with my kids and like just be honest with them so they understand where I'm coming from. I've never been a dad before. They never had a dad before me. So like, we're just kind of figuring it out.
No, and I think they'll end up appreciating that because, I mean, like I was raised very similar to you. I mean, pretty sheltered, you know, so they're already being age appropriately exposed to things that go on just in day-to-day life. So like once they get out there, that, you know, it hopefully makes more sense to them, and it's a little bit easier, you know, to transition to, you know, being an independent person.
I think about Taj a lot, and I guess we can kind of pivot to this conversation if you want to, but so somebody like made a comment about like us parenting, you know, like with the stuff that we have going on. And I'd like to bring up a new dynamic that's going on in, you know, both of our lives that's happening currently. And that's one of our kids transitioning from, you know, being our baby to a teenager.
Yeah.
And there's different dynamics to it. You know, like as old black folks, you used to say he's smelling his own piss now, you know, like the nigga, you know, trying to be fly and shit like that. Or, you know, like try to have something like slick to say, or, you know, just kind of do slick shit. So I'm trying to try to figure out like how to punish him, how to talk to him, like how to treat him, you know, like how to, cause it's all different, you know, like the truth of the matter is, like, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your father. But it switches after they become a man, because your son, you know, like you can't whoop him. You can't tell him to go in the corner. Like you rely on the friendship that you built throughout life. Yeah. To where he'll respect you enough to where when he's 24 years old, you know, I can tell him what to do, or at least give him sound advice and he'll follow it.
And he considers it. Yeah.
You know, so like I'm trying to like find that. And, you know, like it may be too early, or who fucking knows, you know, but like, I'm just trying that dynamic. But, you know, for you, you know, like what's it like having a kid, you know, get to that point in his life?
I mean, same. I mean, it's different trying to figure it out. Like you can't baby talk to him
right
anymore, because he's like, oh, stop.
like him one like name brand underwear for us. Hold up. First of all, we don't buy our kids generic underwear, but like fancy underwear for his birthday. Like, and Bailey was like, why does he need fancy underwear? Which is a very valid question. But I think he's at the age to where he see people wearing cool clothes and just want to be cool. But
no, and I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever now. Right. I mean, it's going covering his ass, not mine, I guess. But I mean, initially I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you don't need $35 underwear.
Yeah.
Or, however much. And then, I mean, I know my kid. Initially, I was like, what's he going to be showing people his booty?
Right. Taj is he is two things to say about Taj. He has probably the most expensive wardrobe.
Yeah.
In the house. I will say that at 12 years old. I waited in line for 2 hours to buy him a $60 Travis Scott time.
Yeah, t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
T-shirt at a concert.
Yeah, but that's different.
Right. And then, shit, I forgot what I was about to say secondly. But yeah, man, like the kid is at the age to where like he wants to be fly. He's transitioning. Here in the next 3 years, we're going to be looking at getting him a car, and it's just crazy. So, a lot of people are curious about our work and how we deal with that and parenting. And we just had this conversation a second ago, like you said that because you work overnight and I work during the day, and we don't have babysitters or anything. Our kids are mainly in-house, which is, why we go crazy half of the time.
Yeah.
But just for the people, I guess, listening, what's your perspective, or like what is parenting like for you with the schedule that we have now?
No, parenting isn't easy. Working overnight's made it harder.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the time, like, it wasn't my goal, like, go through school and I'm going to work overnights. If I didn't have kids, I would work overnights. Cool.
Facts.
I mean, who wouldn't work like where I work overnight? Like, there's a pay difference, like it's a shift differential, so you get paid more.
Yeah.
And there's less doctors, there's no administration, there's way fewer family members.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that a patient has to do during the day in the hospital, whether it's different types of therapies, different scans, different treatment plans, like those people aren't there at night.
Okay, so it's all handled during the day.
Yeah. So, I mean, technically less work for more money.
Right.
I mean,
duh.
Yeah, and then straight out of nursing school, like, I'm broke. So, like,
we broke shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, night shift isn't a long-term thing anyways, and anyone who knows me knows, like, the way I am about my sleep, like, I'm very particular.
Facts.
So that's been a big transition in itself.
Sleeping Beauty ass.
Yeah. Like, that's been a transition in itself. And I felt like I was just the kids are just big enough. I was just starting to get where, like, I would, like, feel comfortable taking naps without the kids, like, going completely crazy. And then now, like, my sleep schedule, it's just all over the place. But, I mean, it's made it harder because I took the job initially thinking, oh, well, I'll be at work whenever they're sleeping. So I'm not, quote unquote, missing out on anything. Yeah. And then, like, at school, they have awards assemblies and stuff that's usually in the morning. So I could go to those. I'm not going to have to miss out on work or anything like that. True. And then, of course, a nursing schedule, it's mostly self-schedule. I have to work, my required is 3 shifts a week.
I like the flexibility that the job offers.
Yeah.
As far as scheduling. Like
yeah. No, but when the kids are in school, it's so much easier because right off the top, that's easily 80% of the week, they're at school. So whether if I'm sleeping or if I'm taking care of, it's so much easier.
Has been,
summertime has been rough. Just between keeping them fed, keeping them entertained, you trying to work, me trying to sleep. Like,
I will say, like, it's become increasingly hard during the summer, because we're all mindful, constantly telling the kids like, hey, mom's trying to sleep, like you shouldn't be loud. And first of all, 4 kids all under 12 years old, telling them not to be loud in the summertime.
Yeah.
In the house. I feel bad doing that in the first place. But the truth is, like you've been working all night. This isn't the biggest house ever.
Yeah.
So, and then I have a lot of guilt because from the kids' perspective, they think daddy's always in the office working. And it's true for them, because even though they're home, like work on my side still needs to be done, just because you got a job, and you like accomplish your goals, like mine don't stop in that sense. And then of course, I'm the most trusted studio in my town.
Yeah.
And having that title, it's not easy for me to just constantly turn money down because that said artist can go to another studio. And every little bit helps. And, from that business perspective. So I guess running a business, definitely running a business, and then working a full-time job, and then the kids being home is probably one of the toughest things I've ever done in my life. And then, it feels like they're the age now to where they're growing, man, and they've ate more than they've ever eaten,
Yeah.
And so it just seems like every second, hey, Dad, can I get a snack? Hey, Dad, can I do this? And it's constantly like pulling me away. So, like this summer I've lost, thank God that the company I work for is very lenient on me, because I feel like if I would have worked anywhere else, like I would have been fired, because the hours during the summer for me is so inconsistent.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie and put 40 hours, just to show that I was there, like I'm going to be honest about it. So that's been pretty tough. And, like I feel guilty that I'm not there. But at the same time, I tell myself that I've literally had jobs to where I've had to work in, like 1 or 2 states away.
Mm-hmm.
And that was even tougher, like not being present.
Yeah.
So like the grace that I give myself is, even though I don't get to spend time with them like I want to during the summer, and both of us working, I'm still here. The kids can still come in the room and touch daddy.
Yeah.
Or talk to him. And a lot of other kids don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they're not too hard on us later on down the road, and they do understand that. But yeah, so I think that's kind of our parenting dynamic whenever it comes to both of us working and juggling kids and stuff. I don't feel like it's perfect. Excuse me. I don't feel like any parenting situation is going to be perfect, but I feel like what we're doing for the betterment of our lives and our kids, I feel like it's a huge step.
Yeah.
Compared to last year.
No, for sure.
Compared to the year before. So there is going to be a time, like right now it's fucking grind time, babe. Like you're digging in, doing your job, like I'm working 2 jobs, but a year from now, it's going to be different. Just like it was, like a year before. I'm always going to have a second job. I like making money, but you know what I'm saying? Like we are going to get our shit together as far as working daytime and getting our new house. And we're going to have more time to spend with each other.
Yeah.
So, there is a season in their lives to where they're going to get more of us. It's just that, like we did everything late, we're just now getting on our feet. So.
For real. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I've had conversations with Taj and with Nora, just to kind of break it down to them, like to make sense in their minds. Like I've told them, like, this is why I went to school all that time. It was for this, like, and I've told them, I'm like, not necessarily to work at nighttime. I'm like, but I mean, I don't know. At the time, like, I don't know, just kind of putting in my,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like putting in my time to be able to have bigger opportunities, once it's kind of like nursing. You get like that 1-year stamp and you're kind of like
facts
free to, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. We're almost there.
But I would be remiss if I had said, if I left this out. hopefully I used that word remiss correct, but there has been a couple people in our life, couples and stuff like that, that have helped us out with our kids. And to me, it's so unnatural because I've never had that type of dynamic. It's always just been me and my mom is kind of, just like Bailey said, like super sheltered. But you know, we have people like Holly and Miss Annette and our neighbor Miss Linda here recently. You know, we have had a group of people that helped us, and I feel like if we didn't have that help, Lord knows where would it be. Like, I'm not going to say it or like call it or anything like that, but I can tell you that the people that I named off saved us from a bunch of hard nights. You know, that one extra kid off of you makes so much of a fucking difference.
Yep.
You know, like whenever you have 4 kids, it's hard to, you see everybody, you know, like you hear everybody, but it's hard to like really be present with them. Whenever you're down to 2 kids or, you know, like even 1 kid, you know, the dynamic is completely different.
It really is.
You know, like our son Chief is such a different kid whenever he's around his brothers and sisters versus when we get our one-on-one time with them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, like I don't want to leave that out. We are blessed to have those people in our lives, you know, and I guess that's another dynamic that we've recently, you know, had to deal with in our life about how, you know, it's not normal for me, and not normal for Bailey either. It's not like she's, you know, came from that type of life. It's just a bunch of people love our kids, you know, so.
They always seem to kind of swoop in, like right on time. I mean, so
I don't want to overlook that, you know, as if we did everything by ourselves, you know, and.
Well, it's the definition of people say like it takes a village. Like,
it's definitely taking a village.
Yeah, for sure.
Granted, it would be a lot easier if we had less kids, but
yeah.
I don't even like to pull out. So
we here now.
We here now because that thing too good. So, anyways, moving on. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, like life wise, or do you want to move into hot topics?
Oh, okay. Well, no, we'll talk on one thing real quick.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time, so get it.
I know. Once again, it kind of goes back to what we've been talking about this whole freaking time about, you know, like just how, I mean, we're not even 12 months into major life changes.
No,
you know,
we're not,
which when you say it like that sounds crazy, you know, but this weekend is tax-free weekend for back to school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know that till the other day.
I bet you 71st Street is crazy.
Oh my God. I could never.
71st Street is 71st Street in Tulsa, which is where all the major shopping, at least in our area.
I'd have to be in that mall like 9 a.m. when they open, which I'm sure every mom is saying that. So
food right now.
Yeah. Luckily at the moment though, I mean, the 3 younger kids, you know, just kind of doing shopping here in town close is good for them. You know,
yeah. I mean, because when you're at that age, you fly from Walmart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Walmart and Ross, and you're good. Yeah.
Like, I'm in my 30s and I can fly at Ross.
No, same. Y'all, if anyone who knows me knows, I wear Walmart from head to toe, and we'll get compliments. Yes. Anyways.
Okay.
But this is the first school year. Like I was telling Emmanuel this the other night, this is the first school year that like we're doing back to school shopping for 4 kids.
Yeah.
And like we can afford it. Like if complete transparency with you guys, like, you know, we're not. There was never a point in our lives to where we've scammed. I don't know how we've made decent Christmases throughout, you know, our kids' childhood. Because like we've barely made it by, you know, and there's always been some assistance, you know, thankful for Native American, you know, for always having our backs as far as school clothes. Yeah.
Gadgets, you know, like during the COVID seasons where like we all got a bunch of money from the Native Americans for laptops and stuff like that.
Yep.
And we actually used that to help you with your nursing school.
No, for real.
So yeah, man, like, this year was the first year that we did it without help.
I mean, help as in like you said, from
a handout.
Yeah, from the Indians, help from family members, whichever, you know, anytime you know,
for all of it.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It just is a moment. Like,
hell yeah. It's a moment. And I try to bring that up when you feel guilty, you know, for working overnight, because a house is strong with like 2 pillars, but it's really hard to knock that bitch down. I mean, the house is strong with 1 pillar, but it's really hard to knock it down with 2.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, you know, like you solidifying yourself just helps solidify us as a family to do so much. So before you bash yourself, just know, you know, like we're out here doing it without help.
Yeah.
So you tore the store up for tax-free weekend. Now, does that last for like 2 days or anything like that?
I don't know if it started like yesterday. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like it's usually like Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
Is it tax-free online too?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it can't be like sports things. Like you can't get, you know, like cleats and helmets and stuff. But I mean, any type of like clothing, I don't know necessarily about, you know, like back to school. Also, that includes like going to college in that realm. So I think you can get some things like dorm related. Stuff, yeah. But I don't necessarily
college so much.
I don't think it includes like toiletries necessarily, but I mean shoes, undergarments, backpacks, belts.
I miss the excitement of just being in my dorm, you know, like obviously it's your first place you lived and you're independent outside of your parents' house. And I had a really cool, he played cornerback for our team. His name was David, this little short, light-skinned guy. And, like, it was the first time we ever met. It was just like move-in day, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we ended up being really good friends, but like...
Okay, that'll give me so much anxiety.
Man, we ended up being really, really good friends. And he was like the type of roommate that, you know, like, he like made his bed, like he went to class on time, you know, it's like a very athletic guy. And like, he was like, man, Manny, you snore, but at least you keep our room clean. So like,
ain't shit changed.
My room was like popping because I had a bunk bed, but like it was top, and I had my desk like under my bunk bed.
Oh, okay.
And I would make beats in my dorm room and stuff like that. And you know, like everybody in college try to rap and stuff, like they come over and buy beats. So you know, like I always had it popping.
Yeah.
I stayed in like the B unit, and it's like boys on one side, girls on one side, and it was just like a really like fun, you know.
Yeah.
Just being in a new place every single day, meeting new people. Everybody has their own story.
Yep.
It was just a really fun experience. But so yeah, sorry. I was I go to the hospital in Telequan. That's where the college is. So I get to go down memory lane every time. And you just said a word, and it just kind of I want to go back, but I don't think I would fit in now. I don't think the gray hair would allow me to fit in with that same crowd. But
yeah.
Anyways, I'm glad that people that are going to college have those tax breaks. There was a lot of nights where if I wasn't a bouncer at the club, you know, like making my little $20 a night, like in Taco Bell, like I'd be so screwed. So, but yeah, congratulations on everybody going back to school. Congratulations to the parents. Lord Jesus, it's going to save us a lot of money.
Yeah.
Shout out to the teachers, you know, which aren't respected. They aren't paid enough. And I'm joining that group after spending a whole summer with my kids because fuck, take these kids. No,
for real.
Moment of honesty.
Yeah.
What else? Tax day.
Yeah. Tax-free weekend.
I feel like that pretty much covers it for right now. Okay. So in the hot topics, holy shit, a lot has happened. Donald Trump got shot.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine came out. College football came out. What else happened? Ben and J-Lo broke up. Where do you want to start?
No, they've been broke up. We talked about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they're going through some stuff because like she was seen like wearing her ring, but then Ben wasn't. So
oh.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well.
I don't know, Hollywood drama stuff.
You might as well start with the football.
Yeah, hell. Yeah.
Stop dancing around it.
Unleash the wagon. Unleash the hitch. It was, first of all, college football, the video game, and in real life is a big part of my life. So, like, I'm thankful that if it wasn't for that sport, then I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't even made it to NSU in the first place. So, I mean, like, that's opened up the door for me to enjoy life. I feel like I could have went further, but, like, that's for another story. I grew up playing this game, just classic battles with your friends in the room and, like in high school and just bragging rights for the next day and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like the competition amongst friends is something that I always loved. And I just remember being a kid going to GameStop at 12 o'clock, which is crazy because my mom let me go to the mall by myself that late. But just being in there, like playing a game and the releases, and it was just amazing. And it was so sad when it went away. And it just sucked, man. There's not a lot of pageantry in NFL. And there's not a lot of, I don't know, it just means more. Oklahoma doesn't have an NFL team.
Yeah.
Like OU is the shit here.
Yeah.
So I guess, like I've always been a college person, and I guess it went away because of court stuff and players couldn't get paid for their likeness and stuff like that. And I completely, totally get it. It's cool that you're in the game, but, like you want to find a way to monetize that if that's your face in the game.
Yep.
And for a long time, players weren't getting paid for that.
Yeah.
And if I'm Tim Tebow and everybody's buying this $70 game because of me and I'm in college, like I want to be able to buy a meal off of that. So, like I completely get it. And there were so many like court cases and back and forth to like make this thing work. And I finally read somewhere that they ended it to where each player that's in the video game gets $600 and they get a free copy of the game. And your first thought was like, man, that's not that much. But then you have to realize there's almost like 30 or 50,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, okay, well, let me get the math right. There's 32 teams on the game. There's 150 players on each team.
Yeah.
If they opt into the game. So you do the math on your own. It's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
So they had this big rollout. The commercial came out and like, I was like a kid on fucking Christmas, man. I was so excited. I talked to you about it for like a week, and it seemed like the closer it got, like the last 2 days, this is how bad it is. Like I put the timer up on the big TV.
Yeah.
And we counted it down for the last 2 days, and it seemed like the closer it got, the longer away it was, like from dropping.
Yeah.
And when that thing dropped, it was a thing of beauty. It was like just to put on your team colors and to go out there and just play against your friends and talk shit. It's like reliving a part of my childhood again,
Yeah.
And I've started playing online again and stuff like that. I got the headset, I got the webcam. So like now I can talk shit, like people see me and talk shit. I started a Twitch and stuff like that. So follow me, Just Manny 918, and I'll be streaming on Facebook too. But the numbers, all right, back to the numbers. So here's how crazy the anticipation was, right? They have a deal called pre-order, where you can pre-order for early release, which is like if you pay an extra $30 and you get the game 3 days before it actually released.
Yeah.
So the game is $70, but if you pre-order, it's $100. And 5.5 million people paid the $30 extra to play the game like 3 days before. So like just from the pre-order sales, like they made the money like to pay those college players, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
And it said that the game made over like hundreds of millions of dollars, like since the release. And what's crazy is they don't have microtransactions, or I think they do, but it's not like NBA 2K24. It's where you pretty much have to pay for your player to be like over 85.
Yep.
This one you can just jump in and build your dynasty.
Yeah.
It's that's another way that they kind of took it back old school, to where like the era that I grew up in. So I just love everything about it. I'm a big recruiting head. So obviously it's a college football game. So in Dynasty, like you can recruit, and I just love that, getting into the analytics and stuff. I think that's where I kind of nerd out on. So yeah, the game came out. I was excited about it. I'm consumed by it. And yeah, it's just a part of my childhood that I get to have back. And college football back, it's right before the season starts. And Boomer Sooner, baby. You know, I will say this. I will admit to this. If we got to stay in Oklahoma a little longer, at least I can go to some OU games. And it won't hurt us financially. Anyways, moving on. Do you have any hot topics? No? Okay. So one last thing I want to talk to you about before we get out of here. And I just want to say this. We don't indulge in politics. I don't. Bailey just brought something up that I never thought about. You know, like we don't necessarily agree in the same stuff in politics. But we're also the same type of people to not push like our beliefs on other people or anything like that. So
yeah,
that's why we don't talk about it much. But old Donald J. Trump got shot at. And just like any nigga in the hood, bro got shot and the street cred went all the way up.
All the way up.
And Lord Jesus, I don't understand it, but the guy got shot and threw up his fist and became a savior to people.
Iconic.
So
that photo, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He stood up with his fist and had the blood running down the side of his face.
That will be in history books.
It will.
Mark it down.
Yeah.
So not to bring this up because like we have an opinion on it. I just think America's crazy. And somehow we keep finding old Trump in the middle of it. So you know, Joe Biden just dropped out, and Kamala Harris, which is not a black name. Let's get that out the way. But, you know, like she's running for president, and, you know, like it just made like a new dynamic. We have a woman of color running for president. I'm not going to say her nationality because truthfully, I don't know. People are saying a bunch of crazy stuff and I don't get into politics, but I just think it's a crazy time in America. So
yeah,
I would like to say through all this, I just can't wait until the election is over and all this tension just kind of level out.
Yep.
But
no, it doesn't. I mean, every time, you know, everything gets ramped up and then it stays, or, you know, gets ramped up and then, you know, by the new year, everything kind of dissolves a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So, I just want everybody to kind of level out and be cool again, man.
Yeah.
I kind of hate all the high tension stuff, and it's just not cool. So if I could just say anything, man, it's just love everybody and protect your ears. So, with that being said, it felt good being back. And to be honest with you, man, just with the release of the game coming out and us not getting the house, and I just, to be honest with you guys, I just wasn't in the space to talk, you know. So, but I did want to make this podcast this week, you know. We have to see the people, so.
Yeah, no. Whenever we miss, you know, kind of like miss our time, it's never on purpose. We promise you guys, like.
It's never on purpose.
No. I mean, life is busy. I mean, everyone's life is busy, but like, I don't know. It kind of
really trying to figure this fucking shit out.
Yeah. And then it kind of felt nice. I don't know. I mean, vacation kind of sucked just because it was consumed by, you know, other pressing matters. And that kind of just completely contradicted the whole point of taking a vacation.
Right.
And so, I mean, coming back from vacation and then getting back into the swing of things, you know, it just kind of like, you know, getting back on schedule, and then the kids will be starting school. So that's another schedule, I guess, in my brain that when we're preparing for, you know, so.
You know, but all our kids will be in the same school this year.
I know.
For the first time in our lives.
Yep.
for this year and next year. Because I mean, well, if we were to stay at a Sadler, so different schedules, new levels, new devils. So yeah, man,
that should be the name of the podcast.
New levels, new devils. Oh God, I'm still in that one. Well, I made it, so I can't.
I was gonna say you made it.
Anyways, yeah, man, be sure to leave a like. I appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and we're just trying to figure this thing out called life, and we're just recording it. So
yeah.
Anything you need to say?
No.
All right. Deuces.
Bye.